From director Jafar Panahi comes the drama It Was Just an Accident. This is a film that is getting a lot of awards, a lot of critical acclaim, a lot of recognition, and I finally was able to see this. It is the story of a man who works in I'm going to tell you the whole story. A man who works in an auto shop. A family comes in late one night because their car has broken down. They need a little assistance, and he thinks, the voice of the father as being the voice of a Iranian police official who was notorious and brutalized he and a lot of other political prisoners in recent years, and decides to take the law into his own hands. I'm not going to tell you the whole story. He kidnaps the man and it puts him in a trunk, ties him up, blindfolds him, gags him, puts him in a trunk in his van, and sets about finding other people who were similarly brutalized by this person, because he's got a doubt. He's not 100% sure. He's about to bury this guy in the desert, and then he starts to have doubts. Is this the guy? The guy professes his innocence. Is it him? So he starts to go to other people who he thinks were also through this experience. A lot of these people were blindfolded. They only recognize the sound of his artificial limb squeaking. They only recognize the sound of his voice. They only recognize aspects of him. They never really got a full look at what this guy looked like. But the scars, psychological scars and physical in some cases, run so deep, he's sure that somebody else will recognize that this is the guy. And if they confirm it was him, then he's going to take care of this guy. It's a pretty grim film. I did not really know much about this going into it, other than it was really acclaimed, and I had wanted to see this in the theater, but I missed my chance. And I didn't love it, but it's very compelling as it goes. It puts you in another place, a place that is not wildly different from this place, but it's another culture with its own history. And it's subtitled, which I have zero problem with. It does have long stretches of no dialogue, so there's that. And it is well made. I felt like it was a little too loose for me. Like, I felt like, not that it was too obtuse, not that it was necessarily too long, because it's 103 minutes. It's not wildly long, but for me, it felt maybe a little repetitive, or I felt like it could have been tightened up. And that's just me. And it might be totally that it's my American car chase, guys jumping out of windows on fire, laser beam pummeled brain from what I've seen since I was a kid in theaters. So once in a while I'll see a foreign film. I love foreign films, but once in a while I'll see a foreign film that has its own set, or its director's culture's own sense of pacing and story progression and things like that. And it takes me a little while to click in. This, as I said, it keeps you guessing right up until almost the very end of the film as to who's right and who's wrong. Is this the guy? Is what he's saying real? Are these people's memories accurate? Are they really saying, yes, that's him? Or are they thrilled at the possibility that it's him and that they're going to get their revenge? Because they've all been broken to some degree by what this guy and his regime did. And the ability to take revenge on him, or at least know that guy's not walking around anymore, is a strong driver. But at the same time, some of the people, I think it's ultimately about 4 people that are brought in who had experienced this guy's torture. And some are very certain, like, yeah, it's the guy. Let's just take care of this. What are we waiting for? Why are we questioning this? Where others are like, what we're talking about doing is a very serious thing here that makes us as bad as the person who did it to us. And we want to really be pretty certain that it's that person who's doing it, or else we're just somebody who's killing and torturing an innocent person. So very interesting moral quandary, interestingly done, just maybe a little bit slower pace than I was ready for, I guess, at the time that I watched it. But it's certainly well shot and cut. It just didn't grab me as much as I kind of hoped it would once I realized what the movie was going to be about. Knowing nothing about this going in, it did take me a while to figure out what is going on here. At times, I also wondered if it was supposed to be funny or not. The subject matter absolutely isn't, but certain things that happen, I guess maybe most dramas have a little bit of humor, a little bit of lightness in them, and otherwise this would be just insanely grim. But for the most part, it's a grim subject matter and a grim story. So anyway, that is my rambling take on this. Be with that what it may. It is available. I watched it as a rental because it still is playing very limited in some theaters. I'm pretty sure this will be nominated for Best Foreign Film at the Oscars for the year, and that will probably push it back into theaters. Like anything, I recommend seeing it in a theater if that's you have that option, especially if it's a movie that's a little bit slower. Because at home, if a movie's a little slow, you can look at that phone that's never that far away from you, or you can get up, or you can look out the window, or you can do something, or you can pause it, or you can stop. In the theater, you're forced to just pay attention and go with the flow. So if you can see it in the theater, I would recommend seeing it that way. It was just an accident.